And this is the small garden. I added a couple new beds to that. Okay, so over here by the house I have more chard and kale and collards, and just needed to put some extra plants somewhere, and so I just stuck them wherever, and I was lucky and planted everything from seed this year. Just volunteer tomato and some collards and seed them. Side of the house. Did peppers and stuff in planters. The eggplant did pretty well for being in the planter, and zinnias and hyssop. The bees absolutely love it, so I will be planting more of those plants. I had no shortage of bees this year. It's pretty amazing the amount of pollination I got from having the hyssop and the zinnias, and there's a bee. This is going into the garden. My one zucchini plant that's just been producing very well, and it's actually planted in a container. And then there's kohlrabies over there. Didn't like the tomatoes so much in these containers. They just kind of struggled all year, so I probably won't do that again. But this is a summer squash that I planted in the middle of August, and it's been doing great. It has been producing a lot, and the bugs have not devastated it, so I learned plant all your squash and zucchinis and everything later in the season, because it seems to help avoid the bug problem, which I did lose all my squash that I planted earlier in the season. This is Brussels sprouts, which I'm hoping to get some. I got everything in late this year, so the things like Brussels sprouts and cauliflower stuff didn't do as well, but they're doing great now, and it's supposed to get even colder. It's supposed to cool off into the 70s again, so I think they'll start maybe forming their heads. This is kale, another bed of kale, and here's a look at the small garden. The kale's just loving, we just got some rain, kale's loving it. And here is another pepper bed. This turned into be the hot pepper bed, but there's also some sweet peppers in here, like the big Marconi one right there. And then I've got this kale plant that this was from last year, and it all went to seed. After it went to seed, then it just started producing more kale instead of plant dying. So that is just wonderful. Here's more pepper plants. These are the Thai hot chilies, and it is loaded. You may not be able to see that because of the sun. I've got a eggplant over there. It did pretty well, but it got pretty shaded off by all these peppers. Here is another tomato plants. They did great this year, and they were actually reaching to the very top of these supports until the strings broke. So, and that's 14 feet high. So that we've really worked. I just need to get stronger string for next year. I really liked it. This is my Boxcar Willie. It is just still really loaded, so I'm going to cut all of the leaves off and cut the plant way back to where there's just tomatoes, so that it can just put all its efforts into the tomatoes. Hopefully that'll work. More chard that came up from last year. A lot of nasturtium. The nasturtium is just really enjoying the cooler weather, and I'll probably end up making pesto with that. This monstrosity is a loofah plant that I only got one loofah because we had a cooler year, and I was told by my friend who gave me the plant that it just wasn't hot enough for loofah, but it looked cool. I lost all my cucumber plants to the cucumber beetles, so next year I'm not planting them as early to see if maybe I can thwart that. Here's my new favorite basil. This is called cardinal basil, and it just keeps on producing. It has wonderful fragrant leaves, and each one of those little purple things, instead of it being a flower, is a new leaf, and so it just keeps going and going. And let's see, oh, my first try at okra. This okra plant has done wonderful. I'll probably plant a couple next year, even though I'm not a big okra fan. I have friends that are, so they'll be getting okra. And then my giant sunflower. It's in a sunflower growing contest. The head got 16 inches and it got 12 feet tall. And it is pretty much ready to pick. So here's a new bed. This one I put potatoes in this year. And then that one and that one are just bookcases I threw on the ground and threw some dirt in. Obviously they did really well. Here's a, you can't even see, that's just what it looks like from there. And then over here is my, like, manure piles. And you got sweet potatoes in that bucket. Here's a, I have no idea what this is. It just kind of came up, and it's probably getting too cold for it to grow into whatever it's supposed to be. But this is one tomato plant that I just stuck in the ground here because I didn't want to kill it. And it is producing all kinds of tomatoes. It was just off of a sucker that I stuck in some water. And then the plant, I just stuck it in the goat manure. And so this is what it's been doing. In this huge thing is cauliflower. This is cauliflower, and this is collards, and this is all in goat manure. And I'm hoping that this is the nicest my cauliflower's ever looked. I've never got a head, and so I'm hoping this year I get some cauliflower. We'll see. Here's another tomato plant that was actually just one I had stuck in water from a sucker, and it has been going crazy too. It's pretty huge. It's just kind of taken over. And then this is, the greenhouse worked great this year. I was able to grow all my seeds, all my stuff from seeds, and then put them out here, and then give a lot of plants away. And as you can see, planted a lot too. And so that is the 2014 garden and what it has turned into. And it's been a good year. It wasn't really hot. It was pretty cool all year. We had rain when we needed it, and we're getting a lot of rain now, so it's almost like it's springtime in the garden again. I just can't believe these guys here.